we're going to be talking about commanding the room. And some of the people we have had here have actually done that. And sometimes when you see Kipchoge running and he's doing his 2 hours, 1 minute, it seems very easy, right? It's like he's just jogging along the road. And you think, maybe hata mimi nikianza kula training, you never know, right? But then one day you go out and you're like, let me try to time myself. What can I do within 15 minutes? And you realize you can't even do a kilometer. That's when you know the things that look easy are not always that easy. So seeing people coming on stage and performing and delivering and communicating and convincing people seems like an easy thing, but it doesn't come easy to all of us. And we have been given so many skills. But I'm a very curious person, and I want to take us back, and I want us to break it down. Why is this skill not obvious to everyone? All right? So that's what my talk is going to be about. So the first question is, what does it mean to command the room? And I'll give you a story. And I'll date myself here, so be kind, okay? Be kind. When I joined school, it was the year that the free primary education was being given. I'll pay a few minutes and pick my sub. That was the year I joined school. And what that meant was, previously, there were people who wanted to go to school, but they couldn't because of the finances. But now that we have free primary education, everybody came to school. So I'm a little 7-year-old there joining school, but my classmates are 13 years, 14 years, 15 years. But it was really fun studying with them. So I studied hard. I got to class 5, and in class 5, I was made the class prefect. Now, there is still the age difference, right? So we've studied 5 years with them. So if they joined school at 13, how old are they? 18, right? How old am I? I'm 12, and I'm made the class prefect. So it was really difficult to manage this class. But a moment of confluence happened, and it helped me bring everything together. One day, one guy was being very stubborn. I'll never forget his name. Wilson Amsali. I'll never forget his name. So he was really stubborn. And out of just being mad, I snapped. And I turned to him. And I started to speak to him in English. And I was like, why are you being a nuisance? Can't you just listen and shut up and give everyone peace? I don't remember the exact words I used, but I remember I just snapped in English. And then he never responded like he usually did. And I realized, wait a minute, it's because he can't respond like that in English. So once that light bulb came on, I really went hard on him that day. And he actually kept quiet. And since that day, if the class was noisy and I turned and I looked like I could speak English, the room went silent. And that's when I started having an experience of, wait, there is actually something with this communication. You can actually control, you can actually command. You don't need to be big, you don't need to be bold, you don't need to be older, but if you know how to say what you want to say, people can listen. And that's what we are here to do today. It doesn't matter what position you're occupying in the company you are in. It doesn't matter how big your brand is currently. We just need to figure out how do you communicate, and you will get these people listening. So that is what commanding the room actually means, getting people to listen. Why should you command the room? Every day you walk into spaces where there are people. Opportunities come from people, right? So in every room you walk into, there is a potential that the opportunity you're looking for, the breakthrough that you're looking for, is with someone in that particular room. But if you don't know how to say what you bring on the table, you just walk home having left your big break there. Are we together? So that is why you should learn how to command the room, because the opportunities you're desperately looking for today are in rooms where there are people. And if you don't know how to express yourself in those rooms, you go home leaving the opportunities in those rooms. We are together? All right. So how do you actually do this? How do you command this particular room? You do it by mastering 3 things. And I've said I'll take you way back. We've been given a lot of skills, right? But I want to put context into these skills. 3 things. You need to master your instincts. You need to, okay. Nina behave so very Mausamitian. That's where I come from, my village. Inaitwa Ngufa. So you need to master several things. You need to master 3 things. 1, you need to master your instincts. 2, you need to master your emotions. And 3, you need to master your intellect. Now, for most of us, what makes us feel important is our intellect, right? Good English, Fido, right? Like good English makes us feel very good about ourselves. And but there are so many other there are so many other layers that are below Hey, it takes you that long. Oh my Lord. There are so many other layers deep, and that's what I want us to explore today, all right? I want you to look at a very interesting map here. Technology is doing its thing. Okay. What biology? Yeah, Jay here is very excited. Now, I want to give you just a crash course, a little crash course, but I hope you will remember this whenever you're going to communicate and whenever you're in situations where you need to represent yourself. You think you have one brain. In actual sense, you have a 3-in-1 type of a brain, all right? And why do I say that? It's because you have these 3 types of a brain. 1 being the lizard brain. And this is the part of your brain that is just instincts. Fight, flight, freeze, all right? When everything goes wrong, your top part of the brain shuts off, your emotions shut off, you go back to your instincts. We're together? A good example. You have a date, right? You're well dressed like I am. Thank you. And you've just had your nice date, you're walking towards your car, you're holding your lady's hand. And just before you get to your car, you hear a loud bang. And what happens in that moment is that your body twitches and you want to run, right? That's the instinct. But then you catch yourself and you're like, I'm the man here. Yes, you catch yourself in a second and you tell yourself, I can't run. So you chill, you look around, you realize, it's a tire burst, so you're in no danger. And then you ask your lady, like the man you are you okay? And you walk as if you were not supposed to run, all right? And that is immediately when danger happens, your brain moves from all the thinking, all the sophistication, all the emotions straight to your instincts. And for us, when we now start having these engagements of public speaking, of networking, you walk into rooms and you panic. And the first instinct you get is freeze, flight, or fight, right? There are a number of people in this room who I know, they've been called to speak and they went blank. They didn't know what to say. They didn't know where to start. They just went blank. And that is because their brain immediately went to danger, all right? And they froze. The second part of your brain is called the mammalian brain or the mammal brain. This is where now we have all the touchy-feelies. And the interesting thing, just to have a segue, this is language, this is emotions. The ladies are mostly here, the gents are mostly So sometimes, when the ladies have mastered this, they are able to really express it here. So they know exactly what they want to say. When they want to describe an emotion, they use very sophisticated words that say the exact emotion, right? For us, it's a little bit difficult to access this part. So we have this. So what we do is we put everything together. And that's why we do like. Because they're just like, good. Yeah? Chonjo. So that's just a segue. So the mammalian brain is the feeling brain. And that's why we have people who have a dog as a pet. And you realize the dog even tends to love the owner, right? Because it can feel emotions. That's where that happens. Now, when you're coming to speak to people, a really good example, he mentioned the president. 2022, he was on the same car he is on today, right? But you loved him. Why? The emotions, right? He sold hope and you believed it. And he said the same things. He quoted, tutaanza wapi, hadi wapi, hadi, and you clapped. Why? Emotions. Today, on the same road, on the same car, tutajenga kutoka wapi, hadi wapi, what do you do to him? It's because the emotions have shifted. It doesn't matter what words come out. If the emotion is not aligned, then you're not going to communicate. And this is why sales is a very difficult thing. Because after clearing Form 4, I was called to town and for an interview, a very interesting interview, an opportunity, right? Some of you are smiling, they know what I'm talking about, right? An opportunity. And I came and they convinced us and they told us, you know what? Actually, there was one lady, I'll never forget her. She told us, I'm an engineer by training. However, I lost my job and I was very lost. And then someone introduced this opportunity to me. And because of this particular opportunity, now I drive a Mercedes-Benz. And I don't even think about it. It's just a beautiful life. Right? And they tell us to now go out and spread the gospel and get your people. This is how you drive your Mercedes-Benz, right? And you believe in the gospel, you go to the streets. At that time, we were selling, what do we call them? Herbal medicine? Yes, people might know the company. So it will clean your blood, it will do this, these are the vitamins. And then a friend of mine, who is actually Jerry at the back, he went back home with his forms. And his dad looked at him, he was selling actually insurance or something. And his dad looked at him and told him, what are these packages? So these ones, we are back in the village. I've told you the village that I come from, called Ngufa. So, and you're coming with insurance. So when Jerry is given this particular form, he's like, I know a man, I know that one, I know that one. If those three ones are by, I am sorted fast. Then before I start selling to other people. So he goes home. And Dad looks at the papers and asks him, so what are these premiums? They need you to invest 5,000 every month. So in this village, who are you looking to sell these 5,000 to? And Jared said the names. And the dad was just like, okay, I'll give you a chance. Then Jared went, and no one even listened to him. And that's why sales is a difficult thing. Because for you to ever sell, you have to get someone in the right emotion for them to even listen to what you're saying. So you're on the streets, you're just stopping random people who are going about their day and hoping that I can convince you and shift you. And this is now where a good salesman comes in. If you're a good salesman, you're able to shift them from their day to the emotion that you need them to come into so that they listen to you. But if you're just starting out, you don't have these skills of playing around with the emotions, right? So that's the second part where communication has to happen. And then the top part is the intellect. This is the cognitive part of the brain. In fact, the way these levels of the brain have grown, this is the oldest. This is where we started. Then, out of adaptation, we got here. Then out of adaptation, the reasons we are not chimpanzees, we are here. Now, let me surprise you. At this level controls 55% of your communication. This one, 38% of your communication. So how much remains for this? Only 7%. My people, doesn't matter how good your English is. It doesn't matter how good your Swahili is. If people don't accept you at this level, unapiga ile kitu tunaita nini? Una darama wapi? Kwa watu huko kwetu Nyadaro. Are we together? And that's why I say that I'll take you a little deeper so that you understand these things. So then how do you master these things? I need you to master your instincts when you walk into a room. I need you to put people in the right space, okay? I gave an example of you walking with a date, and a loud bang happens, and you want to run, but God helps you, you don't, and then you don't spoil that date. The way to overcome instincts, and Valerie said it very well, pause, give it time. Because the only thing your brain needs is to be told, you're safe, relax. All these warning and signals you're sending, relax, we are safe. So if you're going on stage, you're going to make a presentation, like Theophilus said, he had that problem, right? Where he wanted to say things to the bosses, but he couldn't, right? So he walks into meetings and he just shuts up, even if he knows much better. The thing you do is you take a moment, is you breathe, is you allow your body to understand that we are safe. And it seems like a very simple thing. But the moment you have that brain freeze on stage, you realize it doesn't matter how much you had prepared, it's all gone. And that's the first thing we need to figure out. We need to figure out how do we train ourselves to walk into spaces, and before you just walk in, you hold yourself and you're like, we're good. And you walk in. And the next person you talk to, the next handshake you have, you're not panicked. You're not asking yourself, what do they think of me? Am I confident enough? Am I well-dressed? You understand? Take a minute, bring yourself back to a safe zone. Because that's the only place you can communicate from if you want to be heard. So that's the way you do your instincts. I won't go into so many details, right? So leo tupitie hapo, but I know what I'll tell you will be practical. Your emotions, how do you control these emotions? You walk into spaces, you're nervous, you don't know what to do. The easiest one I can give you today, there are so many others we can do, but the easiest one is use your body. So what happens is, when you're in a fight or flight, your body sends a lot of the blood to the externals, because you need to run, you need to fight, right? So a lot of that is sent to the externals. So when now you start being nervous, you start being anxious, you start being stressed. The only way to get rid of all of those hormones that were sent to your muscles so that you could run is by using your body. And that's why when you walk into a meeting and you're seated, assume this is the table, don't put your hands here and start fidgeting. Because what's happening to all the hormones that are sent that are telling your muscles to move? You're sitting with them, right? And you get more nervous, and you get more nervous. The easiest? So that when you're talking or you have a point to make, you have the room to do this. And it seems like a simple thing, but this is you getting rid of all that tension that's sent in your body. If you realized, I do utilize the stage. It's a good speaking technique because it keeps your attention. But it also helps me not to be nervous here. Everybody who is a nervous speaker, they stand here, they come, they take center stage towards the back. They hold their hands like this, right? And now, every signal that's sent to their body, now they're having to contend with it here, right? And their body is screaming, get out of here. So they're trying to hold it and keep it there and tell it, hi guys, how are you? Thank you for this particular day. And within 3 sentences, you've lost your people. People give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. You stand nervous. Hold your hands. Hi guys, my name is Steven. I'm a public speaking coach and trainer, and I'd love to train you. Is anyone talking to me after that? No, no one talks to you. You're doing amazing technology. We called it by what? Bioplastics, amazing stuff. You're cooking chapati. Sorry. Anyway, you're doing amazing stuff. But the way you show up is... Actually, let me tell you why I started Believe. The reason I started Believe is because I started interacting with professionals who are really good at what they did, like Theophilus there. Really good. They are a 10. But when they communicate at a 3. Now, when I talk to Theophilus, I only know a 3. That's the biggest disservice you can do to your career. That you're good at what you do, but when it comes to sharing what you do, you communicate it here. So I never know that Theophilus is such a good tax accountant. I never get an opportunity to know he has clients internationally. And then I go home and I'm like, I'm looking for a tax guy. I don't know. Kuna mwenye ako kwa contacts, but I don't know if he can handle the project. Question is, how many people have said that about you after you have interacted and they've been like, there was this guy who said he does marketing. I don't know if he's actually up for it, because venye aliongea, sinivo, we put it like that. Venye aliongea, siku feel kama anaweza hiyo job. Hakuwa na, thank you, high five for that. Thank you. Hakuwa na give. That's the biggest disservice. It's the biggest disservice you can do to yourself. And the reason I started Believe and committed to do this, I've been speaking for the last 7 years or so. But I've never trained. Theophilus was the first class I did towards last year. And it's because of that. So many people are good at what they do. But when they go to talk about what they do, it flops. And then they are stuck. They are doing networking after networking after networking, and the clientele is not happening. Eugene here is a very good, shares a lot of events, and you're following Eugene on WhatsApp, and you're always like, how can I show up for this? How can I show up for this? And you're going to all of those events, and you're not going home with clients. In fact, one of the proudest things, and that's why I brought Theophilus to speak, is because when he did the class, after that, almost every week or every 2 weeks, he comes to me and he's like, bro, nilikuwa sijui nimeenda wapi, nikaingia kwa hoteli, nikaona sijui nani yako hapo. And then I went and just said hi. And you know what? Tuko na meeting Monday. You understand? That literally has made him double his business. So, whenever you feel nervous, I know the body is telling you to do this, do the exact opposite. Do the exact opposite. If you're speaking to someone and you're starting to get nervous, reach out. I was saying, right? You start introducing action to what you do. So that's how you master your emotions. The last one. This one does not have a lot of problems because you're really good at it. All of you are smart people in this particular room. I have interacted with most of you and I can attest. You're smart people. It's your intellect. But now, when you go to your intellect, I need you to understand that whenever you're communicating, you are not just saying things so that people see that you're smart. Okay? You're communicating at the level of your audience. Are we together? I know you know a lot of stuff. And I also go through this. Actually, a perfect example, preparing for this talk. I wrote my notes, and then I handed them over to my brother, seated right here. And I was like, go through those notes, tell me what you don't understand, what I can explain. And my biology people would have been very happy in this room because I had gone to the details. I was in there, I was talking dopamine and oxytocin and endorphins and all of that. Ziko kwa notes, I can show you. And then he told me, I don't know what those things are. And then I realized, wait a minute, I might be talking to a room of people who don't even know like what these things are. So what do? Let me bring it down so that I am talking at the level of where the audience can access me. Now, if you come to the class, because we have more time, I'll now tell you what an endorphin is and how it affects the way you speak. I'll tell you what dopamine is and how it helps you network better. I'll tell you what oxytocin is and how that does. We're together? Because there we have time. But today we don't. And I, even as a speaker, who has done this for quite a while, you see I'm falling into that trap of intellect. Because I know this stuff, I read this stuff, I'm obsessed about these things. So when you start telling me about let's talk brain, let's talk hormones, I'm like, let's go, right? But then I realized, no, that's not my audience for today. That's for another day. So for a tax consultant, for a HR person, for a business person, you're selling this complex thing. I see Eric here is a psychologist. When you're talking to your clients, are you just pushing out information and just being very smart and nothing is landing? So with your intellect, that's how you master it. So what's the impact of what we do, of commanding the room? One of them you've seen is Theophilus. I'll give you two more examples of ladies you will meet today. They're not in the room currently, but you'll meet them today. One is called Catherine. Catherine is a recruitment administrator. And she had just gotten her job when she took the course. And we worked with her. And we started working on her communication because she's talking to a lot of people on phone. She's interviewing people, phone screening people, all of that. Towards the end of last year, before they even wrapped up the year, her CEO complimented her that people are actually calling me, telling me that you're treating them really nice. And that's the power of what we're talking about, commanding a room. Doesn't matter where you serve in an organization, all right? If you get good at your stuff, if you know how to present yourself, how to communicate, you sell your image, you sell yourself, and you position yourself in a place where no one can get you out of that place. So if it comes a situation and there is a promotion just hanging around in that office, and you have clients calling in saying that, I actually like Catherine. She really treated me nicely. Who's that promotion going to go to? Right? The second lady, I've told you you'll meet them, and you'll see why they're out there. You can go ask them these things. I'm not like, stories are jabba. The second lady is called Grace. And today you're going to have coffee and cookies after this. Those cookies are made by Grace. And when I started having conversations with Grace, Grace was like, nah, business is not my thing. For me, I just want to come, do my job, go home, and I'm good, all right? And I really was troubled. I was like, there's nothing like you really love, you want to actually do and pursue. She was just like, nah, not really, not much. I think I'm good where I am. I'll just do what I need to do. She takes the class as a by the way, actually. She was just like, you know what? Catherine is a colleague. She's like, since Catherine is doing it, let's just do it. I'll just figure out how to use it. We finish the class, and then she remembers, wait a minute, I am actually good at baking. Can I start making cookies for people? And she starts a business out of there. And it's because in the class, we talk a lot about finding yourself, finding your confidence. Because before you express yourself, we have to find you, right? Because who are you expressing? It's yourself, right? So we have to find it. And just that was her magic. We tapped into that. And today you're going to have her cookies. Makofi ko Grace. So whatever I do, whatever I train, is not just a matter of you coming on stage. Which this is beautiful. If you're able to command the room like this, it's awesome, right? You've seen what Theophilus has done here, right? You are able to do that. But beyond that, we are able to help you bring out the potential that lies in there. Because all of this potential can only be unlocked by knowing how to communicate. Because that ukiprompt leo ChatGPT, you need to know how to prompt it. You need to know how to ask the question. So as much as it's tech, you need to know how to communicate with tech. If you're bad at communication, you ask bad questions, it gives you bad answers. You want to do your own therapy, you don't know the questions to ask, you ask it the wrong question, tomorrow you're depressed, right? You're like, I'm beyond reproach, I'm done here. So that is what we do, why we do what we do. That is the same code you have there. If you want us to do this together, just scan it. It might not be this cohort, but if this is something you could do in your life, in your space, scan it, we can have the conversation later. But just to wrap this up, it would be very unfair to you if you already have these things within you, but they never get to see the light of day. Thank you.